In the latest episode of The Simpsons, Bart and Lisa are struggling with puberty and Maggie has finally found her voice.
Please, don't let Bart drive, it's too scary.
So in this video, I'll be breaking down this future-themed episode and what it could mean for the end of The Simpsons. The episode is titled Parahormonal Activity and opens with a montage of Marge celebrating her birthday every year until she turns 43. We then get this bombshell that Homer is writing his best man speech for Ned Flanders' wedding. We will get to meet his fiancée later on in the episode, but this would make it Ned's fourth marriage, after Maude, his Vegas wife Ginger, and Edna. And that's not even counting the other 50 other wives that he'll apparently get married to in the future. But we'll talk more about Neddy later. Anyway, a highly hormonal Bart and Lisa come downstairs and Bart is eating everything in sight and Lisa is dealing with pimples. Marge tries to reassure her that the changes that women go through are beautiful, but Lisa isn't having it. And as a former spotty teenage girl myself who was painfully self-conscious growing up, I really fell for Lisa here. Oh yeah, and I love that Lisa is taller than Bart now. You gotta know that eats him up inside. So Bart wants to drive to school, but a nervous Maggie opens her mouth to speak, only to be cut short by Marge.
Maggie, rest your voice. You're still getting over that laryngitis.
This has been a running gag in a lot of these future-themed episodes, with Maggie opening her mouth to talk, and then she gets silenced at the last minute.
Stop everything!
But this time, she actually talks.
He drives so wiggly and everybody honks at us and yells bad words and shows us fingers!
Maggie is voiced by none other than Lindsay Lohan, who described it as a dream come true to be a part of this iconic family. And at one point, Lindsay Lohan would have been far too controversial of a choice to play Maggie. But look, I'm not here to dig up old dirt or go into her past troubles, but what I will say is that I'm genuinely glad she's doing well and looks very happy and healthy. I loved Lindsay growing up. I loved Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, Mean Girls, and The Parent Trap was definitely one of my favourite movies when I was younger. And genuinely, I think Lindsay did a great job here. She sounded super cute and kind of like a mix between Bart and Lisa. And I wouldn't mind her becoming the official voice for Maggie going forward. Plus, it is said that Maggie has a great singing voice and becomes a pop star in the future. And Lindsay is a great singer herself, so it's kind of perfect casting. Maggie talking has divided some in the fandom, with some thinking that the joke of her not talking was becoming tired and overdone, while others think that this has ruined the recurring joke. However, this is hardly the first time that Maggie has spoken, because the first time was all the way back in 1987 in the short Good Night. Here she was voiced by Liz Georges, but creator Matt Groening was actually the one who did Maggie's pacifier sound.
That was me.
But her first official word came in season 4 when she said this.
Daddy.
This is one of the cutest moments in Simpsons history. And the person who provided Maggie's voice for this episode was none other than Hollywood icon Elizabeth Taylor. A couple of seasons later, Maggie was then voiced by Darth Vader himself, James L. Jones in Treehouse of Horror 5.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
And has spoken a few other times in Halloween specials, like a few times by Harry Shearer.
Very well, I'll drive.
And another time by Kevin Michael Richardson when she's possessed by Pazuzu in season 29.
No one leaves alive.
Ooh, her first words.
And then season 20's 4 Great Women and a Manicure gave Maggie her largest speaking role yet. This time, Jodie Foster performed as the baby, delivering a very insightful speech.
These are my terms. I do not care to play by any others.
And season 28's Friends and Family revealed the surprisingly sad reality of why Maggie chooses to remain silent.
Maggie, don't!
Need to hear art. Stop.
This is during a family therapy session where she actually tried to talk, but everyone is far too busy to actually listen.
Stop.
No one listen? Maggie, never talk again.
Get on his lap.
And here, she was voiced by Nancy Cartwright, aka the voice of Bart. She has spoken a few other times too, but this has to be the first time that she's spoken in a future-themed episode and thus ending the long recurring joke. What do you guys think of that? Let me know in the comments. But yes, getting back to the episode, and Lisa is annoyed that she has to perform at Flanders' wedding because she's far too self-conscious to do so. And she even gets more embarrassed when Marge hands her a period bag. But at least Marge is looking forward to spending more time with older women whose emotions aren't all wackadoodle.
Wackadoodle! My hormones are wackadoodle!
Yep, it turns out that all of her friends have their own issues with perimenopause and getting older. And to combat this, they all started getting Botox, which is something that Marge refuses. And no joke, but I met up with some of my girlfriends this weekend, and there were a good number of them who all had Botox. And just like Marge here, I also felt that pressure. Also in the scene, Sarah Wiggum's voice caught me completely off guard.
Don't tell me you haven't had any of the symptoms.
Who the hell is that? That does not sound like her at all. Back at home, Marge discovers that Bart has been reading manga with sexual imagery.
Is it normal for a boy to look at bunnies with big boobs?
And if that wasn't bad enough, she suddenly gets hot flashes while out at the store. Oh yeah, and I love this side gag where we see that Jasper has frozen himself yet again in the freezer. Maybe he's still waiting for robot wives to be cheap and effective. Marge realizes that her family's become a madhouse, with her spiraling and her teenage kids' hormones going crazy. And out of everyone, it's Homer who is able to calm everyone down. After this, we then see how great Ned's life is. His house is huge, and he has a fancy new sports car, and to top it all off, he has a hot new wife. After all the trauma that Ned has gone through over the years by losing 2 wives, it's so nice to finally see him living his best life. And although this is a future episode, I predict that we will meet Pam again within the next couple of seasons. The producers have been building up the characters to have their own happy endings for a while now, and I can definitely imagine them introducing Pam now to set her introduction up later on in the main timeline. I don't know, but I'm putting my bets down now, people. When Marge goes out to buy Maggie shoes, she bumps into her ex, Auntie Ziff. And he makes her feel even older by telling her that he's no longer attracted to her because of her wrinkles. Feeling ugly and ancient, she then goes to Luann's house and begs for some Botox. And just as she's injected, Lisa walks in. Also, I love seeing Milhouse all tall and gangly. It reminds me of my brother at that age. And Marge and Lisa continue to argue, and Homer once again plays peacemaker. But as soon as Marge relaxes, she finds porn on Bart's tablet. This sends her into a spiral once more, worrying that he'll turn into a sexist manosphere guru. Homer reassures her that Bart will be just as awkward and sweet around girls as he was, but still, Marge confiscates every screen in the house.
Why? You know why. Okay.
Now, side note, but one of the most common comments I see from fans is that they wish they aged the characters up. And I think this episode is great because we haven't seen Bart and Lisa at this teenage stage yet. Bart and Lisa are both at those very awkward ages, where ordinarily we've only really seen them as cooler older teenagers. It feels a bit more grounded rather than the typical future episode which uses the time jump to tell more outlandish stories. Oh yeah, and I keep getting asked where my Homer Simpson timeline has gone, and unfortunately, Disney has blocked it. But I'm working on getting it back. Anyway, Homer tries to make Marge's life easier by getting her a smart fridge, so that the next time Bart eats them out of the house and home, the fridge will order more food. And he even tracked down those shoes that Maggie wanted. Here, Homer's the dream husband, and just as they're about to get down and snuggle, Homer realizes that he can't give Marge his full attention, if you catch my drift. But at least he didn't panic, because he just called for an erectile dysfunction ambulance, 2 fire engines, and a helicopter. And it is very ironic that Marge's hormonal changes and shifts as a woman had no medical or any kind of attention given, but with Homer, a man, he gets the whole jamboree. And that's exactly what the Simpsons writers are getting at here. But the downside is wild mood swings. And with the calmest person in the house now unstable, everyone is soon at each other's throats again. And to make things worse, Lisa didn't even tell Marge that she got her first period. Not only that, but Bart has been using the fridge to watch porn. This causes Marge to completely lose it and destroy the fridge. And I loved this scene because it's always so fun when Marge goes completely unhinged. So with both Marge and Homer too wired to drive to Ned's wedding, Bart takes over. They arrive just in time, but a nervous Homer asks to use Marge's estrogen cream to balance himself out, and instead of roasting Ned, the cream makes Homer incredibly sappy, and he delivers a very heartfelt speech about how amazing his neighbor really is.
He's my favorite person in the entire world.
And I loved this scene because it was genuinely really sweet. So there's a few things that I noticed at this wedding. It looks like that Barney is back to being sober, we see a rare appearance of Apu and Manjula, as well as Mel's wife Barbara, who first appeared in the non-canon episode A Serious Flanders. So it looks like she'll be a mainstay character now. I wonder if Mel is still a cuckold.
Ah, the cuckold!
Don't worry about him, he can turn his video game up real loud.
Bart tries talking to a girl, and to Marge's relief, he's just as awkward as Homer ever was. Marge and Lisa finally make amends, and Lisa conquers her fear by performing on stage, singing the Pina Colada song, tying back to an earlier moment where Marge missed singing that song with Lisa. So here, Lisa is the singer, not Maggie, and I kinda like that this episode is showing that there are far more facets to who these characters can be. Overall, future themed episodes are very hit or miss for me, but I really enjoyed this one. I related a lot to Lisa's insecurities about pimples and being perceived, and I loved Marge's journey towards accepting aging and change. It was funny, surprisingly heartfelt, and honestly one of the better future episodes that we've had in a long time. I'd really recommend it. But yes, for more reviews and timelines and everything else, please subscribe to my channel now. You can also support me on Patreon under The Simpsons Theory. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll smell you later.